Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DCUO Online. I'm of course Trex here on Black Ember, and this is the long-awaited Fire Tank Loadout Guide. Now, I want to go ahead and make this out there right now, alright, this little disclaimer. This is the loadout that I use. This is for me. This is for my character. You don't have to go by my loadout. If you have any thoughts or any changes on the loadout, and please put them in the comment section below, but also be nice about it. Don't be a-holes and just go, "Oh, Trex, your loadout sucks. You have all the wrong ones. Why are you using this? Why are you using that?" I'm using it because I want to use it. If you don't like it, please continue watching the video and you can go away. Now, this is all I had a blast doing the first Fire Tank Loadout video, and I'm really happy that people were patient, cough cough, to let me do this next video to try and get it out there. I did a lot of extensive testing. I definitely tried to work out which loadout, which powers I actually wanted, and also being very situational where now I'm a melee tank. I'm not using my bow anymore, mainly because I haven't found a bow up to par with what I'm using now, because I keep running the freaking challenges and no bows dropping. I keep getting mad. I mean, I've gotten two-hander, I've gotten staff, now I'm back to martial arts. Back to day one of DC Universe Online martial arts. I call that coming to full circle. But anyways, let's go ahead and go straight into the stats first, alright? Let's go into skills. Now, if we remember from my last video, I actually had 73 skill points. I'm now up to a whopping 82. That's right, a whopping, I'm happy with the 82. I am really happy with the 82. Now, with this 82 skill points, I don't think I actually have everything I want maxed out. I have all my domination. My domination is maxed out completely. I'm missing a little bit of health, and really that's it. I think I'm missing like a couple of points for the health pools. But anyways, now go into martial arts, and you can see that, of course, this is my martial arts tree. I don't want smoke bomb. I'll get it if I get an extra point. I really don't care. But for brawling, when you're speccing yourself as a fire tank, the first thing you have to do is max out your dominance. The reason being is, the reason you want to max out your dominance, and I'll explain that when we jump into the powers, but when you're doing your points, you want to first max out your points, max out your skills for your main weapon. My main weapon right now is martial arts, so all the attacks I want are in the martial arts tree. And then, of course, I went down to bow. Bow doesn't have defense, or dominance, I mean. Doesn't have dominance, so I went straight to brawling. Boom, dominance. Once dominance is maxed out, then you're going to go over to health. Alright, you're going to go straight into the health stuff. You also want to try and put some points into here, like the 15th health here. Alright, you want to do that. Pistols, doesn't have anything. Alright, just can't use it. Dual wielding, maxed out. I could have, maxed out, went straight to the dominance. Hand blasters as well. Okay, yeah, okay, so I did actually max out everything. I actually put 3 points into critical healing magnitude for, you know, shits and giggles. And I'll go over that as well. Actually, I'll go over that now. The critical healing magnitude, as a fire tank, we heal ourselves. We do great healing ourselves, but of course, we can never go anywhere without our healer. So, I went ahead, you're probably asking why I put 3 points into critical healing magnitude. Magnitude means the amount that you get healed. Alright, so just as an example, if my base heal for like backdraft or something was like a 20, critical magnitude is it will crit to a larger pool, like it could crit to 40 or 50. As an example, those are not actual numbers. I'm just throwing it out there, okay? But dominance for hand blasters, you got dominance and you got health, and I just went with critical magnitude. For one-hander, went with, wow, I definitely went with critical magnitude. Holy crap, I had a lot of skill points I didn't use. So health and critical magnitude. Rifle, went to health. Of course, there's healing chance. I mean, there's critical healing chance as well. That right there increases your percentage of getting a critical heal. Your chance of getting a critical heal. I went with magnitude because I want that big whopping number. For shield, I went with health. And then down here to staff, went with dominance and critical healing magnitude. Wow. And then for, as we see here, yeah, for two-hander, we went with health. So, you're probably asking what my stats are right now. This is the gear that I'm wearing. All right? I've got to actually replace this ring. It's something I'm not even using. I am not socketed. All right, I don't have any sockets in this gear. This is my tank gear. This is also a mixture of the new stuff from Home Turf as well. Yeah, my tank stuff is not socketed. I really don't. I don't socket that much. So what you're seeing is a mixture of. There's tier 3 right there. There's a little tier 4.25. I always call it tier 4.5. I always call it that. From the Home Turf DLC. Amazonian gear that I got from Theramascara. Amazonian gear from Theramascara. That there is from the solo challenge for Home Turf. There's tier 4 hands. Amazonian from Theramascara, and the glasses from pretty much tier 4.5. Alright, so I mean I got a little bit. Steelworker here is actually from the bounty mission, so I don't really know what we classify that. But so I mean I have a mixture, so to speak, and please ignore the inventory, just keep it to yourself, please. At the top up here you actually see my that's all my DPS gear that I wear. Not the green back though. No, actually I can go ahead and delete that. Yay. So these are my stats. I am in my tank roll. I'm in my tank spec. This is my health is 4,051. It's low. That's because I've also, again, not socketed anything. My power is at 1013. My defense is at 3551. Might at 993. My restoration at 752. It's not bad. I mean, I don't have resto gear, so you know it works out pretty well. The big thing here is my dominance, a whopping 648. Alright, so let's actually remember that number. Let's go ahead and... Trex can't find a pin. Trex can't find a pin. I feel like I should probably use my phone then. Oh, found the pin. That's right. I wasn't prepared. I really wasn't thinking about actually writing anything down. So ha 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 ha. So dominance is 648. And I'll actually keep my health at 4051. Alright. Now... Before I go into powers and everything, let me go over... Actually, let me just go straight into powers. Might as well. For powers, alright? I'll go into the iconic powers first. The iconic powers in tank roll. As a tank, you want Nano Weave Armor for 50 defense, 100 toughness. Toughness, by the way, is for PvP stat. Powerful resistance, which is plus 100 health. That helps fire tanks greatly. And... I went with Intimidated Gaze for plus 25 dominance. We'll discuss that in a moment. And yeah, I think that was really it. Now, if I have another PowerPoint to go with, I definitely will probably put one in Miracle Worker with 10% critical healing magnitude. Again, healing magnitude means bigger number, bigger base number. Okay, so let's first go into the Emulation tree. Now, I'm going to try and get another video actually detailing all of this powers in each tree, like a different gadgets and mental. I wanted to go ahead and get this tank video out first, so just wanted to get that done out there, out of the way. So Emulation tree, when you specialize in this tree, when it's specializing means that if you have more points in this tree than the other, okay, if I have 6 points in Emulation and 7 in Ignition, that means Ignition I'm going to get their specialized traits. All right, for Emulation you get plus 1% critical attack chance and plus 25 health. All right. In tank roll, our damage is penalized by 20%. That's gonna happen. You can get a new mod in DLC 6 Home Turf that will allow you to get rid of that penalization. But I haven't gone and gotten it. I'm not really all too worried about it, so to speak. Next is dominance. All right, here's the kicker. Dominance is increased by 100%. Okay? Using superpowers increases your total health by 60% plus 2.2 health per point of dominance. All right? So your healing received is increased by 80%. That means that we get bigger heals to us. All right? So I'm not good at math, but I'll just go with this. Every point of dominance that you have will increase your health by 2.2. All right. There's a fire guide you can find in the description below. It's Cristania's Hopefully I always pronounce his name wrong. It's Cristania's Fire Guide. It's an amazing tool. I use it all the time. Let me actually go to it because I think he actually has the math, and I'm just going to read off of that. So I do love his guide. It's the best fire guide out there, so I definitely do recommend using it. But anyways, back to this. So you want to max out the dominant stat always. All right, that's what you want to max out with going to skills. As a fire tank, when you're looking up new gear, you're wanting to look at your dominance first. All right, is it going to knock down your dominance? The more dominance you have, the more health you're going to get. Okay, now the 4051, that's my base. That is my base. If we, let me actually make sure, because if I get out of tank roll because I'm not doing anything and go to my stats, I should be at still. Okay, so there you go. That's your base. When I use a power, my health will jump up by 60%, plus the 2.2 health per health point per point of dominance. So let's just use fiery weapon, showing off the animation a little bit, and now let's look at my stats. I jumped up to 7,900. All right, I jumped up to 7,900. That's great. I mean, it's great for me, not great for some people, because most people can see actually a higher number, very higher number. So that's that. Let me actually go back in to the emulation tree. So we can actually talk about the powers now. So again, as a fire tank, when you're looking at your stats that you want are going to be first dominance, then health, and I went with critical magnitude. You could probably go with might just to do more damage to the to your enemies, but as a tank, our job is to meat shield. Our job is to keep the enemies on us. All right. So we want more dominance, because of course dominance is kind of our aggro tree, because we need to have more dominance than the mobs in order to keep them on us. I mean, you can't. That's why that's why you see all the alerts and everything say that you need to have this amount of dominance. Now I want to treat that as that's more or less for the tanks, but you know, if a healer has that kind of dominance, I'm going to be kind of worried. Just saying. But that's that they're trying to gauge how everything goes. So let's talk about the abilities that I chose. All right, for my spec in Emulation, I went with Emulation, of course. With Emulation, I'll go over each one for you. With Emulation, it inflicts burning to nearby enemies that attack you, causing damage over time. That means that when I set Emulation on, everybody around me is going to catch on fire. Everybody that is attacking me, even ranged, are going to be everyone around me. I'm sorry. Yeah, nearby enemies that attack you. Okay, so Emulation pretty much is a melee. It's a melee front. Okay, if they're around me, they're going to catch on fire, and we also get a 10% control resistance. That's the tank stat. Next one is Inflame. Inflame is burning enemies you touch, causing damage. Well, now I'm trying to remember this now, because Okay, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Immolation is for ranged purposes. Ranged meaning that if there's an enemy mob doing a range attack to me, he's supposed to get the burning debuff, because exactly as it says, inflicts burning to nearby enemies that attack you, causing damage over time. So apparently it's not ranged. I always treated as Immolation is for ranged, and then Inflame is for melee, because when you use Inflame, it knocks down opponents as well. So, and I don't even think Inflame really gives the Immolation debuff or Immolation name, like with Inferno, so to speak. Like with Flashpoint, using Inflame with Flashpoint, you're supposed to actually get the same effect, because we have Immolation on us technically. So next up is Flashpoint. When Immolation is active, nearby objects and enemies will burst into flame, causing burning to damage over time. Using Flashpoint actually knocks them down, so it like knocks them in the air and they get knocked back down. So it's a good CC ability along with Inflame. That's pretty much 2 juggle moves right there if you decide to do it. Immolation doesn't do a juggle. It just sets them on fire, but it's also usable while controlled. So if you're like knocked down, boom, you can just use Immolation and it works out. So, and Flashpoint, if they are not burning and you still have Immolation on you, then it will set them ablaze. That's a great way to get it out there. Now, Flashpoint does not reset the burning debuff. It does not. Okay? If I am wrong, then I do apologize. The testing that I've done shows that it does not reset. Wildfire in another tree, I think actually still resets, if I remember correctly. It was long testing, folks. Long testing. The next ability that I chose was Reignition. This is a 25% supercharge that ignites nearby enemies, damaging and knocking them down while healing yourself instantly. And it causes the burning debuff on everybody around you. The widespread to the range, I should say, that these new abilities have, that these fire abilities have, is just wow. It's incredibly big. Incredibly big radius. So, Reignition sets them on fire. You get health back. It's a great supercharge for any tank. Always have it. Always. Next up is Burnout. This is technically a PvP. This is one of the PvP abilities that a lot of fire tanks use. So, for this, it explodes thermal energy, knocking enemies away from you. The intensity heals you for a small amount and bestows control resistance. It provides immunity to control effects and removes control debuffs to you and 3 teammates. It's great for groups and all that good stuff. Next up is Fiery Weapon. It ignites your weapon and increases your critical strike chance and your critical strike damage. Now, Fiery Weapon is definitely a DPS ability. Why do I use it as tank? Because of the power interaction. Striking a burning enemy may deal damage and provide a healing effect. The may deal damage, it's going to do damage. The provide healing effect, it definitely heals me, but it only heals me once. We'll go out with the loadout stuff in just a moment. And then next up, I chose Inferno. Why did I choose Inferno? Because Inferno is always that ability that I always want on me. As a tank, I don't have the power. I mean, I only have like 1,000 power. Inferno uses a good chunk of that. And if I'm by myself without a controller, it gets really hectic trying to get these abilities going. But luckily, Inferno is like a nice, huge AoE thing. And I always love it. Always loved it. So I always want to keep Inferno in the back pocket, because if there's a fire DPS with Inferno, I don't have to use Inferno. If there's a fire DPS without Inferno, I need to hit them inside the head and ask them why doesn't he have Inferno. But again, I don't judge other players. I judge their choices. That's what I do. But Inferno, it's a big AoE and inflicts burning to cause damage over time, bestows Immolation to all allies in the area, inflicts burning debuff to all the enemies that attack them during it. So everybody in the circle, first off, all the enemies get the burning debuff. All your allies get the Immolation debuff. If they get attacked by an enemy, that enemy is going to get the burning debuff because our players have Immolation on them. So, again, Inferno is a great ability. It uses a large chunk of power, but it's my reserve ability. So I will switch out Immolation for Inferno if the situation calls for it. And it has caused for it before. So next up, let's talk about the Ignition Tree. In the Ignition Tree, our special traits are 5 plus 5% critical attack damage and plus 35 health. Now I know what you're thinking. That extra 10 health definitely helps. It really does help. But I don't have enough powers in here because I didn't really choose much powers in here. I mean, when I'm looking in here as a tank spec, the only other ability I would use in here would be Wildfire. And I've used Wildfire, and I love Wildfire for the fact that it actually resets the burning debuff. I love that ability. But I always use it as a range. So I mean, I've even used it as DPS. But anyways, let's go over. Fireball. Of course, shoots a fireball. It's actually a pretty awesome animation. And inflicts burning to cause damage over time. Next up is Absorb Heat. This is a vulnerable... You're pretty much sitting there channeling, so you can actually get this interrupted. Absorb Heat. You will absorb heat from burning enemies, will stun them, and heal you. So if your enemy is burning, then they're going to get stunned, and they'll also give you heal as well. It's pretty much like a tick a second or something. I know it's ticking, but I just don't know the time. Sorry. The other one is detonate. Now, detonate, I don't use detonate whatsoever. It's just one of those abilities that I had to click so I can get further down the tree. I could have went with wildfire, but I went with detonate because Super Patriot from youtube.com/daddy's house, he loves using detonate. We talked about it for a little while, saying that he enjoyed using it for clipping purposes. It's a great clipping ability. So, thank you, Super Patriot, for that little notion and the nod to you, sir. So, next up is Backdraft. This is usable while controlled as well. So, it's an explosive backdraft, damaging and pulling enemies towards you. It pulls enemies towards you. Tanks should be using this. The power interactions are whenever the enemies are burning, it's going to heal you when it's used against burning enemies. Okay, so set these people on fire, backdraft, boom, you're going to get healed. Next up is Burning Determination. All right, this is another PvP stat, and it's usable while controlled. Okay, you engulf yourself in focused flames, removing harmful effects, and healing yourself instantly. The next 3 incoming attacks will also provide healing, and you will become restrained to debuff and control effects for a short time. All right, so power interaction inflicts burning to cause damage over time to all enemies around you. The range is pretty stagnant as well. I mean, it's pretty huge. And in their tank role, it extends the immunity against debuffs and effects to allies. How many allies it is, I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. I'm not really sure. I haven't found a plausible way to figure out who gets all that. And no one keeps telling me when I ask in groups either. So, but there you go. Those are my 2 trees I've spec'd into. Let's go into the loadouts. All right, let's go into the defense loadout. My loadout is I start off with fiery weapon. Technically, actually, I start off with Emulation, then fiery weapon, then flashpoint. Just to I use Emulation first, then I clip it with fiery weapon, do some damage with my melee, and then clip into flashpoint. That's right, I'm learning to clip, and I'll also clip into backdraft as well. And then my reserve heals is Burning Determination because I want that heal, and I want those heals. And then I got Reignition as my oh shit, the healer's not paying attention. I need this heal. I need it bad. So there you go. Let me go walk through again how I do this. All right, set off Immolation. Go ahead and get everyone burning. I use Fiery Weapon to go ahead and clip into it to cut the animation for Immolation, and go ahead and get Fiery Weapon. Burning enemies, fiery weapon. Look, I'm already getting healed. Already. Use flashpoint to juggle and set anyone else that's new to the fight that haven't gotten burnt. Well, they're going to get burnt now. So they're going to get the burning debuff. Most of the time, by the time I use flashpoint, Immolation is back up. So I want to go ahead and reset that. And then I go backdraft because I want that heal. Keeping everyone on me as well. So it pulls everyone into me. And then I just keep doing that. If I need a secondary heal, I go straight into Burning Determination. And again, Reignition, my supercharge. It's, oh shit, something wrong is happening. Now, I will switch out Immolation with Inferno just because. Alright, I mean, literally, just because I can always walk. I'm already in that Immolation, in that Inferno, so I'm getting the Immolation buff. So everyone's already on fire, and I can just do it like that. Another one of my big abilities I used to use as a tank was Absorb Heat. Absorb Heat, I do switch it out with Flashpoint. Reason being is I don't. If I use Inferno, I don't use Flashpoint. For boss fights, I may switch it up to, if it's like a boss fight one-on-one, no ads, or if I don't have to worry about the ads, like Broodmother, yeah, Absorb Heat is definitely going to get used. I'll switch that with Flashpoint if I have to. But the Burning Determination stays on there just because of the extends the immunity against debuffs and effects to allies, including myself, and I get those big heals. So there you go. That is my tank loadout. I'm very happy with it. This is one I've finally stuck with. If I make any changes, I mean, this right here is Tank Loadout version 2. I'll make a version 3, version 4, version... If I find something I like interesting about my loadout, I will switch to it, and I will definitely show you guys and explain why I went this direction, and you guys can give me your feedback. But I see Michael Grid back there from Fearless Legion. What? Represent. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. Oh, if you're probably asking about the trinkets as well, one trinket, if you look down here, my yellow button there, it's, wow, he's already wearing the swag too. That's right. Represent. Oop, messed that up. If you're looking at my my trinkets, the first one is supply drop. Second one is the tank compartment from Central City. Next one is Orbital Strike, and then the next one is Sidekick. So those are my trinkets. My utility belt you can only get if you purchased DLC 4 sorry, I think I said that wrong. DLC 5. Crap. No, it's from Hand of Fate. Sorry. Yeah. DLC 5 Hand of Fate. That's it. Yeah, DLC 5. Alright, that right there is my tank loadout. Again, I want to go ahead and put this disclaimer. This is the loadout that I have worked with. This is the spec that I use for my character, Black Ember. If you guys like it, good. If you don't, that's your opinion. It's what I work with. If you guys have another suggestion, please put them in the comment section below. But again, please be nice about it, alright? This is not a place that I just want to see. It's like, oh, Trex, you suck. Inferno sucks for a tank. I don't care. I really don't care about all that. I want to see you guys put comments down there that will help other people play. That's pretty much it. I mean, hell, put your own loadout down there. Let's see what everyone else's loadout looks like. I want to know. I think it's a good idea. Go ahead. But be sure to also check out Cristania's... I forgot the name of it. Sorry. Hold on. Paris. Cristania's incredibly detailed fire tank guide over on the official DCUO forums in the Oracle's database. Those are where you're going to find the guides down there. The link will also be in the description below. Go ahead and check out his guide. He is one of the best fire tanks I have had the pleasure of running with, and he's just I see him as being a great guy. I haven't gotten to talk to him, but you know, us famous people don't all know each other. Come on. Man, I'm going to go have tea with Super Patriot real fast. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time for the Fire DPS loadout coming soon. See you guys later.